Hello everyone, this is a 2007 F-150 and we had a problem with the AC quit working. First things first, whenever your AC quits working, you want to take a look at the charge levels on the system. You can get a set of gauges for pretty cheap and attach them to these ports here. We had a good charge and I figured the compressor had gone bad, but I wanted to check it, so I had it evacuated, recovered the refrigerant from the system. It had the proper charge level in it. Needed to do that anyway because when I replace a compressor, you want to get that refrigerant out of there. It's preferred not to let it out into the environment, so to speak, and if you can recover it, a lot of places won't charge you as much as they don't have to add their Freon to it. But anyway, so I recovered the system, had a full charge, so I thought, okay, it's probably the compressor. And let me show you what I found here with the compressors that kind of gave it away that it was a compressor failure. Now I say compressor failure, but in fact what it really was is the clutch. But I decided to just go ahead and put a whole new compressor in it anyway. So here is the new compressor. As you can see, when you spin the clutch like that, it's good and tight. This bearing spins smoothly. So this clutch is disengaged. When the clutch engages and the AC compressor engages, this outer piece here is locked to this pulley here. The belt then drives the AC compressor and compresses the Freon. The AC system works properly. Now over here, here's the bad compressor. As you can see, we've got, see all that play in the clutch? That's a pretty warm clutch. So notice how this pulley here spins freely. Now if I spin this one, see that's kind of got a grinding noise, and then this starts to move around as well. See that? This piece here shouldn't be moving. It should be locked with the compressor assembly like that. So there's like a rubber material in here that adheres this inside pulley, the shaft, to the clutch assembly here. This isn't supposed to move like that. It shouldn't move. One of the telltale signs that this had gone bad was I saw rubber slung around where the AC compressor sits. I'll show that to you. So back underneath the hood, you'll see some rubber material here that looks like it was kind of slung around right there. See that stuff on that wiring harness there? That's the rubber from the clutch assembly on that AC compressor. The clutch then drives the shaft. There's a little kind of a rubber insulator there, so it's got smooth operation. And that basically just disintegrated and kind of melted out as it started to slip. And then before long, the AC compressor just quit engaging altogether and quit working. Now, here's a couple tips for you guys, for those of you who are going to be doing this job. It is a little bit of a pain. For whatever reason, on these generation Ford trucks, Ford loved to make it just super difficult to get to everything. You can't take the fan shroud off unless you take the fan off as well. So that gets in the way. You can't go out through the bottom because the steering gear's in the way, and if you've got a four-wheel drive model, the front axle's in the way. You can't go out through the back, you can't go out through the front, so you have to go out through the top. Now, once you get the stuff out of the way, it's not too challenging, but here's one thing that's going to make it particularly difficult for you, is this vehicle had a significant amount of rust and corrosion on it, so the electrical connectors were tight. It was tricky to work with those and not break them. We also had the bolts on the AC compressor here, I'll show you, were also a real pain to get out, and I'll explain why. Well, once you kind of get it out, you want to get your coolant hose out of the way just by pulling it back a little bit like so. Get your AC lines out of the way, kind of tuck them up here. As you can see, I got one sitting up here and one tucked up there. Get those out of the way, and you can slowly but surely wiggle the AC compressor out. It will come out there. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but you can get it. So back over here on the bench with the compressor, the reason these bolts were so difficult to get out is, again, all the rust and corrosion that has built up on these things. They had literally like built up corrosion and rust right before the threads began. So whenever I tried to back the bolts out of the compressor, they would get caught on that buildup there. So what I had to do was let them soak in like a WD-40 or PB blaster, and then take a hammer and a screwdriver, a small Phillips screwdriver, and literally just tap them through the compressor. Now on the new one here, as you can see, they slide in nice and easily. because this is a brand new compressor. It doesn't have all that corrosion and crud built up down in there. So I'm going to use my little bench grinder here and just clean these bolts up, get them nice and clean so they go back in and secure the compressor easily, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here we go, the finished project. Look down in there, and somewhere down in there it is. You can see that nice, pretty little Motorcraft AC compressor sitting down in there with the lines hooked up, everything looking good. It went smoothly putting the new one back in, probably because the bolts weren't stuck in there, so I could work it around the fan housing and the frame and everything. Getting the old one out was a pain, but putting the new one in wasn't too terribly bad. Got it back from being recharged. Passed the leak test just fine. Charged it up, added some oil for the compressor. Now all we have to do is fire it up. Let's see if we get some ice cold AC this morning, even though it's a little bit cooler today. Still gonna see if it works here. Alright, so let's go over here and turn that AC on full blast. So I heard a little click. That's a good sign. Usually means the compressor engages, and already I can feel it getting cold. That's a good sign. Let's go check and see if the compressor's compressing. The clutch is engaging and it's moving. And as you can see, there it is. It's spinning. Working like it should. Perfect. You know, when I when I replaced the engine on this truck, I wondered if I should replace the AC compressor while I was at it, and I didn't, but oh well, I got a few years out of it and had to replace it, so we did, and now it feels feels nice and ice cold. Here comes the trash man. One more problem solved. How many more to go? I don't know. It all depends on how that project over there goes. And I'll see you in the next video.